This past weekend, I thought we made some strides. The Friday night match, we really performed pretty well, actually. The result didn't reflect the score line, but I thought we performed pretty well. We were playing against a team that was on a roll, and they had a kid step up and make some plays. The last two plays to go ahead against us were disappointing as far as we're concerned, but I think overall we set the tempo on Friday and did well to carry that into the Sunday game. The Sunday game, I thought we did well to continue our competitive pressure that we started on Friday. And that's very, very hard to do when you have a Friday-Sunday affair, but that's going to be the rest of the Pac-10 for us for the most part. So the guys responded really well emotionally because it's a big letdown on that Friday night when you don't get the result. And they really took it to San Diego State, and that was reflected in the statistics. The big statistic was the goals. We didn't get as many as we wanted to, but we got one more than them, and it was the one that counted by Danny at the end. As far as our shots and our ability to attack, we have seen improvement. You know, the thing that you want to see is you want to see the paycheck picked up at the end of all that hard work. I think the hardest part in our sport is to create the chances. So we're doing that. We're doing that very well. It's just that last piece requires a little bit of clinical finishing. And I know we're going to get that part. That's going to come because we've got some good players who, in those spots, usually are going to make the most of that. So I think the hard part is creating the chances, which we're doing. The easier part is finishing the chances, so those chances will come. Danny Mwanga's attention is quite deserved. He's a special talent, and I think that going forward, he's learned that he's going to get a lot of that attention, and some of that attention is very physical. So Danny's doing better as the season goes on to make plays, and making those plays and not necessarily scoring all the goals. He knows that if he's attracting one or two or three players, that someone else is going to be open to make a play. I think this last weekend, in particular against San Diego State, he was able to make plays that got us goals from him, and he would probably be the first to tell you how disappointed he was not to finish 3 or 4 chances that were probably the easier chances on Sunday. But he's learning to make the plays off of his pressure, and that's something that's always hard that second year coming back. But he's quite a sharp kid, and I see him doing better and better as the season goes on. Going into this weekend against Stanford and Cal will be quite a test. I remember my prior time here. I thought it was probably the most competitive trip I've ever taken as a coach going into that Stanford-Cal trip. So it'll be the same again. Both teams are on a roll. I know they played each other this weekend, and it was a close affair, but both teams have done very well, been ranked in the top 20 this year. So we're going to have our hands full, and again, we play these matches to see where we measure up, and going into this weekend is going to be nothing different than we had last weekend.